Revenge films.
My name is Katie Morrison. My parents got a divorce when I was in elementary school. The reason for the divorce was because of my father's domestic violence. He was usually a quiet and reserved man, but whenever he would drink alcohol, he would turn into a completely different person. And for whatever reason, he would become violent towards my mother. My father never touched me, and I would often see my mother helplessly lying there with blood all over her. It was hard to watch. I even spoke to my mom about calling the police and having my father arrested, but my mom would say, "I have no intention of going to the police, and you can't tell anyone about this either, okay, Katie?" That's all she would say, and she would cover up her wounds with makeup and tolerate this routine every single day. I found out later that my father had been threatening my mom. If my mom ever tried to go against him, or if she ever tried to get in touch with the police, he would tell her that he would mercilessly go after me. However, she didn't have to say anything because she had so many scars and wounds on her face, arms, and legs, and places where people could see that one of her colleagues at her part-time job was the one to contact the police. They opened up an investigation. My father was promptly arrested. My mom saw that this would be her one and only chance to get out of the situation, so she refused any negotiations from my father's side and successfully got a divorce. She took me with her and we ran off to a town far away. From there, I had no interaction with my father whatsoever. We never told him our new address or any of our contact information. The two of us were living peacefully, but every time I would see scars all over my mother's body, not a day went by that I didn't regret not being able to do anything back then. My mom went through all of this just to protect me. If I had gone to the police sooner, my mom wouldn't have had to go through it for so long. From there, I decided that I was going to become a lawyer. I wanted to be able to bring justice to scumbags like my father. I traded my sleep for studies, and thanks to my mom's efforts as well, I was able to get into my dream high school. However, when I was a junior in high school, I began discussing my preparations for college with my homeroom teacher. This was the first time that I found out how much college costs. My mom told me not to worry about the money and pushed me to go after whatever college I wanted to attend. But I wasn't sure if I could really let myself be spoiled by Mom like that. I was constantly going back and forth, and before I knew it, a year had flown by. As a senior in high school, college application season had officially started. Since we changed grades, our homeroom teacher also changed, and when it came time for me to discuss my college applications with him, he surprisingly said,
"If that's what your mom is saying, then why don't you just go along with it? Miss Morrison, you have amazing grades, and I think that you should absolutely go to whatever college you want, so that you can chase after your dreams."
and gave me the nudge that I needed. After a meeting, he pulled me aside to say,
"I'm going to look up what I can about scholarships. We're looking into more information for student loans and what your university cost might be in total. I want to support you in any way that I can, and you can always talk to me if you have any questions. So here, let's exchange messenger accounts. If there's anything on your mind, you can always message me anytime."
He kindly offered to let me discuss anything with him, and I was happy that he was taking my future seriously. I had no reason to doubt him, so I went ahead and gave my teacher my messenger ID. 1 week later, I got a message from that homeroom teacher.
"Katie, is now a good time?"
Katie? Had he ever called me by my first name like that? Yes, I'm available.
"I've actually have some good news for you. I found a student loan program where if you meet certain requirements, you might be exempt from paying it back in the end."
Wow, really? Please do tell me more details about it.
"Sure, I'd be happy to, but it's a little complicated, so it might be hard to explain to you over messages. So I can meet you in person on Sunday so that we can discuss it together. Are you free that day?"
What? On Sunday? Can we not talk about this at school during the week?
About that. If people see that I'm giving extra care to one student's college path, it might be frowned upon, and it would probably make both of us look bad.
When he said that, it made sense, and I did agree that I didn't want my peers to think that I was getting special treatment. I understand. Well then, where should I meet you on Sunday?
Let's see. I don't want anyone to see us together somewhere, so would you mind coming to my house?
To your house? That's a little,
Don't worry so much. Both my wife and my kid will be home too.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry for being rude and suspicious.
Don't worry about it. No problem.
That Sunday, I headed towards the address he gave me and went to my homeroom teacher's house, but there was no wife or child to be seen anywhere. Teacher, were you lying to me?
Lying about what?
You said both your wife and kid would be home.
Oh, about that? They just both happen to be out today.
Is that so?
What is it? Are you suspicious of me or something? Well, you are pretty cute, Katie. And I may be your teacher, but I'm still a guy, so I guess you never know what could happen. I'm just messing with you.
Around this time, my teacher's attitude had started to drastically change, and it reminded me of my dad's double personality when he was violent towards my mother. And it made me scared. So about that student loan program you were going to explain to me?
Of course. Isn't that the reason I called you here?
So how does that loan program work? Is it more like a scholarship?
It's simple. The lender of the student loan is me. I'll lend you $500 per month. And then, when it comes to repaying the debt, if you sleep with me, then I'll deduct $500 per session. Isn't that a much better rate than what you'd make elsewhere? That means if you sleep with me 100 times, you'll get $50,000 deducted from your student loans. How's that? It's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
My teacher was grinning as he said that, and right in front of me, he started to take his clothes off. I was so overcome with fear that I couldn't move my body, nor could I make any words come out. And when I imagined what was about to happen, I started shaking and crying uncontrollably.
I had you come here to sign the contract today. I know that you're too poor to pay the contract fee anyway, so today I'll have you pay it with your body. Oh, come on, don't cry. I promise I won't hurt you.
Luckily, that day ended with a failed attempt. Just before anything happened, my teacher got a call from the school about an emergency situation and had to leave immediately. But as we were leaving his house, he let out a threat.
You better not tell anyone on what just happened. I dare you to even pretend like you're going to, and I'll make sure that you don't make it into any college.
I went home and was unable to tell anybody or talk to anybody about what had happened, and spent the rest of the day in a hole in fear and concern. Nothing actually happened. I wasn't harmed, and I had no evidence whatsoever, so there was nothing I could take to the police either. The next day, I was talking to my friend at school, and the teacher came over as if nothing had happened and started talking to me.
Miss Morrison, are you okay? You're looking a little pale today.
No, nothing. And then my friend chimed in. She said she was up late studying last night and she didn't get much sleep. Katie's such a good student, isn't she, teacher?
Oh, is that so? Well, don't push yourself too hard. If there's anything I can help with you, you know you can always talk to me.
Yes. And this way the teacher was able to confirm that I hadn't told anybody or said anything about what had happened yesterday. And he must have felt confident that his threat worked because after that, his messages became non-stop.
This Sunday, I'll be waiting at the RF Hotel. I'm gonna make you feel good, and you get a deduction from your loan. Aren't you lucky? I know you don't have enough money to say no to this anyway.
I will not be going to the hotel, and I will get my student loan from elsewhere. I'm coming from a single-parent household. My grades aren't bad, so I'm sure I won't have any issues being approved for a loan.
Huh? No matter how good your grades are, you do realize that if your report cards are terrible, then you won't be able to borrow any money or get any scholarships, you see.
I don't think my report cards are bad at all, though.
For now, that is. But if you go against me, you know that it's gonna affect your report card, right? I don't think any university will want to accept someone with terrible report cards, no matter how good their grades might be.
No, how could you? I could only curse myself for getting myself into this situation. Why was I so naive? Why didn't I realize at the time? Why did I go all the way into his house? I felt pathetic for letting myself be fooled by an offer that was too good to be true. There's nothing I could say in response, but when I didn't reply, my teacher seemed to run out of patience and messaged again.
Why are you leaving me on red and ignoring me? Does this mean that you don't care about going to college anymore? Are you giving up on your dreams of becoming a lawyer?
And kept harassing me. In that moment, I opened my eyes and realized I wanted to become a lawyer for this exact reason, to be able to bring justice to men like my teacher and my father, who would look down upon women and try to scare us into thinking we had no power of our own. I had enough proof of his threats and his creepy offers within these messages. I decided to get revenge. Teacher, do you have any clue what you're saying right now?
Excuse you? I should be asking you the same thing. Who do you think you're speaking to with such a rude tongue? It's over for you if you speak like that to me ever again.
Actually, it's over for you.
Huh? Like I said, what do you think you're doing?
You really are quite stupid, aren't you, leaving proof in these messages like this? Perhaps you didn't know that the majority of students are in a group chat separated by year. The after-school club that I'm in also has a group chat, and as an advisor for the club, the home economics teacher is also in this group.
What? Don't you dare even think about it!
Yes, exactly.
Hey! You idiot! Wait! Don't you do it!
As expected, you're now going into a panic.
Please delete the messages! Just pretend they never existed! Please, I'll do anything!
Of course I didn't delete them, and through social media, the messages quickly spread all throughout the school. The next day, the teacher, of course, didn't show up to class, and he was nowhere to be seen. I was also brought to the principal's office, and I told them everything, including the evidence as shown in the messages. And then I went to the police station accompanied by my mother. There was a staff meeting held about the situation as well, and a few days later, the teacher was faced with the most extreme of the disciplinary actions, including immediate dismissal from his job. He was also taken to criminal court and was of course found guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison. As it turns out, that teacher had done the same obscene thing to other students besides me, and his victims were at 10 students and counting. I was able to escape unharmed, but unfortunately not all the students were as lucky. 6 months later, I was successfully accepted into my dream college. I took out a student loan and have been going to classes, and while every day is a struggle, I'm working hard towards my dream of becoming a lawyer.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.